What's up, guys? Chase Oliver here, bringing you another edition to the Q&A. Thank you guys for sending in the questions for the Tuesday Q&A. Guys, later tonight, I also got my SummerSlam 1993 review to upload for you guys, so I hope you guys check out that as well. Let's get started with the Q&A for today. And if you want to ask questions for the Thursday Q&A, description box down below with all the details. Stephen Bradley asks, now that the greatest streak in history is over, who do you believe whose streak will end next, Rusev or Rose? Rusev, I think that his streak would end next, mainly because they will force this guy to face a top guy in the WWE, and if he faces like a Sheamus, I don't ever imagine them having Rusev go over Sheamus, so definitely Rusev's streak, I think, will end before Adam Rose's. Adam Rose is just facing jobbers, man. He ain't facing any real talent. You know, Rusev, he will down the line be facing real top-end talent, so that's why his streak will end first. Johnny Russo asks, who would win in a match? Randy Orton with you as manager or The Miz with me as manager? Well, Johnny Russo, I hate to say it to you, but Randy Orton and I would win. We would have too much baby oil. You would be blinded by me doing the Orton pose. The Miz would just be shocked, and he would be afraid to hit that money maker, and Randy Orton will just punt his fucking head off. So I hate to break it to you, Johnny Russo, but it's true. Paul Marcolonis asks, do you think the Shockmaster would have had a solid run in WCW if he didn't botch the way he did in his debut? No, I only think the Shockmaster was just like a short-term thing, and that's just about it. So I don't think he would have had a solid run. And also, let's not forget, the Shockmaster, that wasn't his actual voice. That was Ole Anderson's voice. So could you imagine if he had to cut a promo in the ring? You hear throughout the speakers of the arena this dark, menacing voice. Oh, that would have just been... oh, God, that would have just been really, 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 really bad. James Isabel asked a question, when do you think the WWE Network might get canceled? I think the network could get canceled if the worldwide releases don't go as planned for the WWE, like if they don't get the numbers that they want. You know, I wouldn't be surprised in the next 2 years if the WWE Network does fold over, if it doesn't pick up some steam here soon. I mean, if the worldwide releases and you're not getting money off those, that's just a bad thing, and that's not best for business. So they might have to cancel those, because if they stay, like, let's just say in the next 2 years, like, let's say with the worldwide releases does happen, and they hit that 1 million subscriber mark. Okay, cool, they hit the 1 million subscriber mark, but then afterwards, you know, the next couple of years, you're still kind of floating around that 1 million subscriber mark. You're kind of, like, not even really gaining subs. You're losing subscribers. Then you kind of have to just fold it in and throw in the towel with the whole network. It's a great idea, the network. It's just that the WWE is just so poor right now that a lot of people wouldn't want to get it. And I don't get why people think that you are a mean person. I don't get it either. I think it's more or less that people don't understand who I am. Like, if they ever met me in person, they would have fun with me. I'm a chill guy. It's just when I debate with people and I'm passionate about something like I am with wrestling and sports and shit, I get heated, and that's just the thing. I just get into the debate, and I just love debating and stuff, man. So that's just me. You know, some people understand my personality, some people don't. It is what it is, but hey, what can you do? You can't change people's minds. And Johnny Russo also asked, do you like what Martellus Bennett did to Kyle Fuller at practice? I don't know what Martellus Bennett did. If he beat up Kyle Fuller, which I'm pretty sure he did, because he did that last training camp with some safety, because he likes to toughen up the cornerbacks and the safeties, and that's all fine by me, because I agree with Martellus Bennett's line of thinking. Josh Chambers asks, you know how Shawn Michaels disrespected the Canadian flag before the Montreal Screwjob? What if he did that today? He would get suspended for 30 days, just like when Jericho kicked the Brazilian flag. So pretty much he would get suspended. The WWE would just suspend it. It would just be like, oh, Shawn, 30-day suspension. Oh, I mean, it's Shawn Michaels, so it'd probably be just like a, Shawn, you silly dog. No, don't do that ever again. 15-day suspension. They would give Shawn a light suspension. If not, they wouldn't give him, like, the paycheck for that night, if anything. Final Limits asks, will you be doing Q&As 10 years from now, being 31 years old? Maybe not on YouTube, but maybe on radio, because I do want to become a broadcast journalist. Maybe I'll be doing Q&As for SportsCenter. Maybe I'll get a job at the WWE doing, like, commentating stuff, so maybe I'll be answering questions through there. I don't think on YouTube, though, but maybe. And what if Lashley never debuted in WWE, but in TNA around 2006? Would he have been the face of the company and many times TNA World Champion? No, because they had Monty Brown, who was far superior than Bobby Lashley. And if Monty Brown did not become that face of the company, what would say Bobby Lashley would become the face of the company? That's the thing. TNA would have not pushed Bobby Lashley. You know, Bobby Lashley, why he's getting pushed now is because he is a former WWE guy. And not only that, he's someone that Spike TV likes, and they hope Spike TV keeps them around because Bobby Lashley is also a Bellator MMA fighter. That's another reason why they're also pushing Bobby Lashley. So no, I don't think he would have became a face of the TNA just because, like I said, if they didn't do it with Monty Brown, who was far superior to Bobby Lashley, why would they do it, with Bobby Lashley? I mean, they had Christian, they had Sting, they had Jeff fucking Jarrett still there. So no, I don't think they would have pushed him to the moon. Even though they would have, they should have done it with Monty Brown. Bubblegum Flavor Stories asks, what if Hulk Hogan died in 1987 in a car accident? Who would have been the top guy then? Macho Man. I would have to guess Macho Man by default. Maybe if WWF could get Ric Flair to come into the company, Ric Flair. So those two would be the first two that come into mind. Maybe Ultimate Warrior. I don't know how long he would have been the top guy for, but it would definitely be later down the line where he became the top guy. But definitely maybe Warrior, Macho Man, or Flair. And if Hogan had died in 1987, how would have the wrestling business been today? Like no Hogan versus Rock, no Hogan versus Warrior, no Hogan heel turn. The wrestling business would not be as successful as it is today. I don't even think that the Monday Night Wars would have even been that hot because Hulk Hogan was a larger-than-life character. Him and Andre the Giant, really defined 80s wrestling and really made you believe, in professional wrestling just because of how larger-than-life those two men were. And so, just seeing Hulk Hogan doing all these miraculous things and you just erase that from history, it's just like wrestling's not going to be the same. There's no larger-than-life icon. I don't think wrestling would be as popular as it is today, and I don't even think we would have that great Monday Night Wars, like I said earlier. I don't think mainstream WWE would be as existent as it is today. In fact, I would be surprised if we had any mainstream companies in today's wrestling if Hulk Hogan wasn't a successful wrestler. I Love Watermelon 525 asks, what did you think when the Nexus debuted on the 7th of June 2010 and beat the shit out of everyone and John Cena? How did you react seeing that close the show? And did it make up for that god-awful episode of Monday Night Raw? No. That Nexus attack did not make up for that terrible fucking episode of Raw. Nothing made up for that. But the Nexus attack was fucking awesome. That shit was refreshing and unique. I always talk about WWE. They need to be a little bit more edgy. And I'm not saying bring back the fucking Attitude Era. I'm just talking about be a little bit more, personal and real with these storylines. Be a little bit more edgy and have more carnage. At least have a little bit more carnage. Not all the time, but a little bit more carnage. Stuff for example, what Daniel Bryan did earlier this year with the whole, he brought the whole Yes movement inside of the ring and they were occupying Raw. That's just good, because that's carnage, that's mayhem, that's good TV. The Nexus, what they did was great fucking TV. I was like, oh my god, it's the NXT dudes. And, I didn't like most of the NXT dudes first off. I was just like, whatever, these are the NXT dudes, who cares? But when they started ripping the shit out of everything, I was like, man, dude, they really want me to buy into these guys. I am buying in on the Nexus, and sadly, the WWE didn't go all the way with the fucking Nexus. But that shit was awesome, man. That was a great time for the Nexus. That was definitely a great Raw moment. Probably a top 100 Raw moment, but not a top 50 or top 10 Raw moment for sure. But it's definitely a top 100 Raw moment. It definitely was something that was holy crap, look at these 7 new guys. Some of these guys you couldn't even take seriously either, like David Otunga and Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater. And they made them look like badasses in that one little attack. Like I said, it's such a shame WWE didn't go all the way with them. And what did you think of when Punk got his head shaved and wore the mask? It was cool. It was okay. I like Jesus Punk more than I liked Punk with the mask, in my personal opinion. I felt Punk with the mask kind of ruined the shredded society, in my personal opinion. That's just me. So it was okay to me. Little Fish asks, will you be doing Q&As 20 years from now, and what number will it be? Probably not 20 years from now, but regarding the number, you have to do the math. So it's 56 times 2, and that's 56 weeks in a year, and I do 2 Q&As every week. So you times that by 2, that's 200 something. Then you times that by 20, that would lead into the 2000s. Then subtract that about how many Q&As I would have. And if I were to do Q&As 20 years from now, that's how many Q&As would be on this channel. And how will YouTube be 20 years from now? Now, how do you predict? I honestly don't think YouTube would last 20 years from now. I think YouTube will sell out. And that's just my personal opinion. This is the business world. And, YouTube, yes, it has a bunch of creative people on here, but soon enough, all these creative people will get bought out by, bigger TV deals. YouTube is becoming such a big thing that people rather watch people's videos instead of watching regular TV on a regular basis. So I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube sold out soon enough, to protect some of their mainstream partners and guys who really get them views onto this website and make them a lot of money. So I wouldn't be surprised if they sold out. And really, to be honest, I think the technology's really advancing so fucking fast. I wouldn't be surprised in 20 years we had fucking HoloTube. So yeah, hologram tube, if anyone didn't catch that. Nintendo Fanboy Q&A, Nintendo Fanboy 1998 asks, Q&A, do you see Girl Meets World lasting as long as Boy Meets World did, with girls growing up to be in the 20s like Corey and Topanga did? Sadly, no. I wish it would last that long, but I don't think it will, mainly because Disney nowadays like to only run their shows for 4 to 5 seasons, and they like to rush a lot of their storylines nowadays. They don't take time to build it up naturally. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by the 10th episode of this freaking season if Lucas and Riley are already kissing. That's just me. I wouldn't be surprised if they rushed, that type of storyline when that storyline should be built up for a couple of seasons now, but that's just how Disney works. So no, sadly though, man, I wish that it could last a long time. I wish I could go for a good 7 seasons or 8 seasons. And how do you think Girl Meets World is doing with the kids from this generation? Do you think they like it or just prefer watching their crappy shows like I Didn't Do It in Austin and Ally? I think it's doing well. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll have to babysit some kids, because in my neighborhood I do babysit some kids for every once in a while. So maybe one Friday night I'll ask the parents if they want me to babysit their kids, and I'll watch Girl Meets World with them and see how they think. That's a great question. I hope it's going well with the kids. Maybe it's just too old school for them, because Girl Meets World does have that old school feel to it, which I like. And kids now, they like garbage like Austin Alley and like I Didn't Do It. I've never heard of that show, I Didn't Do It. And Austin Alley I heard of because I heard Dwayne Wade was on an episode once. So I checked that out, and it was garbage because Dwayne Wade was like a stalker. But, it's sad, man. It's just that they don't appreciate good TV. I mean, Girl Meets World has that 90s feel to it. I mean, if the kids grew up watching this shit today, I guarantee you the next generation would be a lot smarter. Nowadays, these kids are just spoiled, man. They get smartphones and all this other crap. Whatever. I don't really want to get mad about today's generation, but it's true. It's really sad, but I don't know how it's really received for the kids. I hope they're liking it, because it is a good show. Randy Buscetti asked, which Goldberg team do you prefer more, the WCW or WWE one? WCW for sure. That one just felt like Goldberg. The WWE one, it just felt too corporate. It didn't feel like organic like the Goldberg one and the WCW one. The WCW one had better trumpet sounds, and I just like the WCW one for sure more than the WWE one. The WWE one's epic, but it's not as epic as the WCW one. And why do every Legends kids want to follow in the father's footsteps? Sure, we have talented ones like Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Cody Rhodes, but others such as like David Flair and Garrett Bischoff. Why do you think these guys want to be wrestlers like Daddy? Honestly, I think it's just because it's an easy in for them. Like, if you think about Randy Buscetti, if your dad was a successful wrestler, and whether you liked or loved the business or not, it's just like, hey, I'm not really doing well in life. College is not going my thing. I'm not really digging college. I'd rather become a professional wrestler. My daddy did it. I know my daddy was successful at it. Let me try it. I know the company will give me a shit ton of opportunities I don't deserve because my daddy's in it. So you know what? I'm going to try and become a wrestler just because it'll be easy for me, and it's an easy in, and it's an easy way to make my name. And who knows? So many people have this fascination when they enter professional wrestling. It's like what Cesaro said on Talk Is Jericho. Sometimes you see guys who are just in it to be stars and not really do it because they love it. And some of these second generation guys, they look at it and say, hey, I may become a star out of this. They see success from guys like The Rock and Stone Cold, and, they feel like they have the ability to do that. And not to mention, you have your freaking legend of a dad, always having your back and helping you get out of trouble whenever you want. Why not become a wrestler at that point? I think it's just an easy in for them to make their name out there more. That's just me personally. It's sad. I wish more kids would turn out well. Some guys are just gifted with it. Like Randy Orton, he was gifted with his father's genes of being athletic. Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas were gifted with their dad's genes of being a talker. Cody Rhodes was just gifted overall. So it's, it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, just an easy in for them. If their life is not going well, hey, I'm going to become a wrestler like Daddy because it's easy. I know I can get into the business easily. Trust me, you would do the same thing. If your dad was a successful wrestler and shit wasn't going your way, you would say, you know what? I'm going to do what Dad does. I'm going to become a wrestler. Why? Because it's an easy into the business. No matter who your dad is, it's always an easy in. Red Wolf 316 asks, hey, Chess, I know this will never happen, and this is just me wishing and living in a fantasy land, but what if TNA has changed their company in a positive direction, became a way better product than the WWE? Get fans to buy into more TNA and watch it more because the WWE fans are sick of WWE's bullshit and are invested in watching TNA and compete with WWE and kick their ass in the ratings for 2 years, even if the WWE continues pounding John Cena in the main event scene. What would the wrestling business be like, and what do you think the WWE would do for ratings? They wouldn't pound John Cena in the main event scene, that's for sure. They would definitely change it up a little bit more and try to be a little bit more edgier. What would the wrestling business be like? It would be much more better. It definitely would gain more fans' interest, especially outside fans who probably stopped watching wrestling, saying, "Oh wow, there's another thing like WCW going on. Let me check this out. Oh wow, this is different." So they would definitely try to be a little bit more different than TNA. But I always say this: TNA should not compete with WWE, because even if TNA was successful like that, man, just understand, even with in the success in 2 years, that type of money that you would gain in 2 years would not make you into, the same production costs of the WWE/WWF. There's no way in hell TNA would ever reach those production costs. The WWF took multiple years before they reached the production levels they're at today. So you think with TNA, 2 years, that's not good enough time for production costs. So TNA would just still feel like a cheap imitation of WWE, because they're not going to be in bigger arenas just because they're drawing more ratings. They would still be in the same small arenas that they normally draw. So that's just me personally saying that. But it definitely would draw more outside interest, and more casual fans would tune into, pro wrestling. It definitely would help pro wrestling for sure. And what would the WWE do for ratings? Like I said, more edgier stuff. They would just be a little bit more edgy with their stuff. Not full-blown Attitude Era, because I feel the Attitude Era fit their time perfectly. They have to be edgy in a good way that fits today's world. The Attitude Era fit what was going on in the late 90s. They have to find something that would fit in these early 2010s. You know what I'm saying? They have to find out what would work with today's audiences and all that other stuff. So they would definitely have to be finding what are the niche products at the time. Red Wolf 316 also asked, what do you think from All That from Nickelodeon? Produced a lot of good stars for Nickelodeon, and I thought it was good TV. The Gochi Man asked, what do you think who would have won the Royal Rumble in 2006 if Eddie Guerrero never died? Because we all knew that the only reason Rey Mysterio won the Rumble was because of Eddie Guerrero's death. Yes, that is true. Randy Orton. I really think they were going to push Randy Orton at the time to face either Kurt Angle or Batista at WrestleMania 22. So definitely Randall Keith Orton, I thought, was going to be the one. I mean, the dude just came out of a year-long feud with Undertaker, so you knew they had to have something big planned for him. And Gochi Man asked, what did you think of John Morrison, and do you think he will come back to the WWE? I liked John Morrison. I didn't understand the whole, let's compare him to Shawn Michaels. And will he come back to the WWE? Depends. It depends on how much he misses it. Because let's keep in mind, John Morrison right now, he's probably doing other stuff that is making more money for him than he was in the WWE. Let's face it, John Morrison was no guy that was making probably $600,000 a year with his contract. John Morrison was probably a guy that was making $200,000 to $300,000 a year with his WWE contract. So, in all honesty, with his outside ventures and the name that he had at the time for the WWE, I'm pretty sure he's making about the same amount, or if more, than he was in the WWE. So, in all honesty, when it comes down to John Morrison, it would probably have to be a situation where it's like, you know what, I really do miss wrestling for the WWE. The door's open at any time, so let me come back and entertain these fans. I think we will see him back, even if it's just a one-off appearance inside of a Royal Rumble, but I do think we will see John Morrison back in the WWE one day. Joe Juicy asked, which storyline do you think was worse, WWF's Invasion angle from 2001 or TNA's Ace and Eights, and why? Oh, Invasion angle for sure. Invasion angle killed the Attitude Era. Invasion angle fucking made no sense. Here was a storyline that people have been waiting for. WWF versus WCW. Holy fucking shit. You threw in ECW too. God damn, dude. That's the 3 major promotions all in one fucking brand, and they're going to go at it. And it was nothing like that. It wasn't like it was Rhino, Booker T, and DDP leading the charge against Team WWF. No, it was Stone Cold and Kurt fucking Angle. What did Kurt Angle ever do in ECW besides almost sign a contract with them? Yeah, you can say Stone Cold, former WCW United States champion, and definitely someone that was big for ECW when he was there. But really, to be honest, what the fuck did Stone Cold ever do in those companies? It wasn't like he was drawing money for them. Seriously, it was so fucking dumb. The only guy that I felt benefited from the Invasion angle that was on the opposite side that was not part of Team WWF was Rob Van Dam. I think it was the only guy that the WWF did right during that whole Invasion angle. The Invasion angle sucked dick. It was terrible. And who is your favorite super heavyweight of all time? Big Show. Big Show back in the early days was fucking awesome. Jake Loomis asks, have you ever heard of the Brad Rules in the YWC? And if yes, what do you think of him? I like the Brad Rules. He's definitely different from most YWC guys. 30-minute Raw reviews are not really my thing, but, I'll check them out every once in a while. I'm not a huge fan of his, but he definitely does good stuff. And I always say, I don't care if you have a different opinion from me. Can you entertain me during your videos? Can I sit through your videos and be entertained for the whole portion of the time? And you know what? He does a good job with the time that he works with. So, yes, I do like the Brad Rules. He's a good YouTuber for sure. Greg Toomer asked, what is one thing you don't like about good mic work? Sometimes he can be a little bit of a WWE apologist sometimes and try to make it spin like, oh, this is a positive thing for the WWE, when he deep down knows inside some of the stuff they do is stupid. He just doesn't want to admit that sometimes this company does stupid things, so it is what it is. But that's one thing I don't like about him. Piotr Nilton asked, what did you think of Daniel Bryan got fired in 2010 after choking out Justin Roberts? I thought it was dumb because I didn't know why he got fired at the time. And then I read on the dirt sheets just because he choked Justin Roberts with the tie. I didn't understand what was the big deal about that, but then I remembered, oh, Chris Benoit, LOL, what was I thinking at the time? It sucked for Daniel Bryan because I was actually excited what he would have done in the Nexus storyline, and I felt he could have benefited well from the Nexus storyline, but it turned out well for Daniel Bryan at the end of the day. And what did you think of when Bryan returned at SummerSlam 2010? It was definitely cool for me personally because I was just like, normally for me on pay-per-view days, guys, I don't read any fucking dirt sheets. I don't go on the dirt sheets because I don't want to know who's returning, what's the rumors, and all that other crap. So I didn't know that if Daniel Bryan was in the building or if there was reports about, Daniel Bryan coming back. And when I saw Daniel Bryan, when John Cena announced Daniel Bryan, I was like, oh my God, that's cool. Sweet. He's getting a second opportunity. I like this. I felt that he should have been the one to beat the Nexus, if anything, not fucking John Cena, but hey, it is what it is. But, I've never been the biggest Daniel Bryan fan in the world, but it was cool to see him get a third opportunity in the WWF. So I was really happy for him. And Mr. TNA 2005 asked, who do you think TNA missed the ball the most on? Crimson, Matt Morgan, Judas Macias, or Jay Bradley? Oh, Matt Morgan for sure. Here was a 7-foot, 350-pound monster just waiting for you. He could have been a babyface. He could have been a fucking heel. He was perfect. The WWE messed the ball with this guy. I mean, this guy was doing a stuttering gimmick in the WWE. And now, you get this guy. You make him the carbon blueprint. You say he's the perfect person in the world, the DNA of TNA, and you just don't do shit with them. Such a fucking shame. Matt Morgan should have been a big star for TNA. And question number 2. If you would have to rank from 1 to 4, Paul Heyman, Dutch Mantell, Scott D'Amore, and James Mitchell, in the last 10 years as managers, which would it be? 4, Dutch Mantell, 3, James Mitchell, 2, Scott D'Amore, and 1, Paul Heyman. Those would be my rankings for those 4 managers. Sharora Horror asked, what if you were in a coma in 2001 and woke up now? How would you react to the PS3, PS4, and all the random stuff and the modern stuff from WWE shows with Cena and Reigns? Dude, if I was in a coma, I would wake up. I would be surprised that we have fucking phones that we can touch with screens now, that there's no longer fucking flip phones. I would just be like, whoa, I can slide like the screen and touch it. PS3 and PS4, I think I would be confused by the PS4 because they have a screen on the controller, so that would definitely be like, ugh, like a shock to me. But definitely PS3, I'll just look at it and be like, hey, it's a PS1 controller but black, and then I would see the graphics and I'll just be like, oh, this is amazing. And I'll probably be one of those gamers that think graphics is everything and all that other crap. When it comes to wrestling, I would just be shocked that I would still see Kane and Triple H really on my TV. I'd be like, wait a minute, Kane and Triple H? Why does Triple H have short hair and wearing a suit? Like, Kane's wearing a mask? He's still wearing the fucking mask? Because I want to know that Kane unmasked. I want to know that shit. So I'm like, well, he's still doing that shit? And then, I'll hear Undertaker had a streak, and I'll be like, wait, he had a streak? Because remember, they didn't really emphasize the streak until 2002 when he faced Ric Flair. That's when they first started to emphasize that he was undefeated at WrestleMania. So I would just be all shocked and shit. I wouldn't understand what's going on, and I'd probably turn off the TV. In all honesty, if I was watching stuff from fucking the Attitude Era, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I fucking saw Goofball Cena and fucking Roman Reigns in pajamas on my TV, I would just be like, nope, no longer watching wrestling. And then I would see what was going on in basketball, and then I would be disappointed in that too, and probably not watch basketball anymore. I would probably only watch football. What are some fantasy matches that you would like to see with the top stars of today versus the top stars of the past 70s, 80s, or even early 90s? John Cena versus Hulk Hogan in 85 would be pretty fucking sweet. Austin in the late 90s versus Daniel Bryan would be pretty sweet. Andre the Giant, any era versus the Big Show would be pretty fucking sweet. Can I use CM Punk? Oh, fuck it, I will. CM Punk versus Macho Man in 87 would have been pretty sweet. The Ultimate Warrior in 89 would have been sweet against Roman Reigns today. Trying to think of more really top stars. There's not really that many top stars. I want to try to find a match for Bret Hart, but I don't want to say Daniel Bryan again. Bret Hart in 93 taking on, I'll say Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle can still go in the ring. And I know he's not a top WWE star today, but I'll just say that. So those would be some of the dream matches I would like to see, in my personal opinion. Reed19 asks, what if WWE let Scott Steiner come back and deliver a no-holds-barred pipe bomb? It would be the best promo in WWE today in 2014 and the best segment in WWE 2014, no questions asked. Number 2, what are your thoughts on Chris Harris and TNA during his first singles run, as well as what happened to him once he left for WWE? It ruined Chris Harris's career. I don't know what TNA saw in Chris Harris. Like, I get it. He was definitely the more good-looking between him and James Storm. But James Storm was always the most entertaining, and you're pushing Wildcat Chris Harris. And then he left for WWE, and then he got fat because freaking Chris Harris thought, oh, getting big into WWE is just eating a lot of food. No, getting big into WWE, Chris Harris, is working the fuck out, not getting fat. Knock, knock, who's there? Braden Walker. Braden Walker, who? I'm going to knock your brains out because you're out of a fucking job, you fat piece of shit. Fuck Chris Harris. Fucking fat piece of shit. That's all he is to me. I swear, man. I've never been more disappointed in a wrestler in my life. Here was a guy that had so much potential, and he just fucking wasted it. Fuck Chris Harris. Lino Gino asks, Q&A, why does WWE keep calling Kane by Demon Kane, and why did he take off his mask again for the 50th time? I don't know, because they're trying to reestablish that Kane is, once again, a monster. And why did he take off his mask again? Because he's probably retiring soon, which is sad. And if that's how Kane retires, I'm pissed off. Because Kane deserves a better fucking retirement. And how annoying is WWE shoving this stupid network down our throats? Don't say that it was funny because it was disrespectful. Well, Lino Gino, if you watch my Raw reviews, I pretty much bashed it. I wouldn't say it was funny. I know you think that I like to think wrestling is a joke, but I thought it was stupid. It was really, really stupid. So, in all honesty, yeah, it was definitely dumb. Sorry about that. My mom pretty much came home and my dog started barking when my mom's home, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I was just like, screw it, I'll just edit the Q&A. Let's continue on with the Q&A. Brony Loney asks, what did you think of when Angie died on the first episode of Season 2 of Under the Dome? Brony Loney, no Under the Dome spoilers. Some people haven't seen it yet. Well, if you haven't seen the first episode of Season 2, fuck you people, because you should have. I was shocked, man, because I really thought Season 2 was going to be Angie's season. I really thought they were going to build the whole season around Angie, and that it was just going to be, you know, her time and shit like that, and she just dies. I was like, what? That's just how you know that's how great Under the Dome is. When you think one thing about the show, they go ahead and they change it into something even better. And who is your favorite character in the Under the Dome, and why? Rusty, the doctor. I like Rusty because Rusty is just like a nice guy, man. He's just like, you know, in a situation that is just so chaotic and terrible and people are freaking out and dying, he's there trying to help all the other survivors. You know, I just appreciate Rusty, and I think Rusty does a great job. I really like his character. I just like how positive he is, so probably that's why. Reginald D. Huff asks, do you know you have a smug asshole jock look that makes people just want to slap the taste out of your mouth? No, but thank you. And why do a lot of people think you're a douchebag, a liar, and a hassle? Do you know why? No, I do not know why, Reginald D. Huff. Maybe you can insult me in the next Q&A so that way I can find out why. So there you go. There's my answers. John Cook asks, Q&A, how many Q&As do you still plan on doing? As long as I'm still doing YouTube, I plan on keep on doing Q&As. And why is WWE pissing off fans by shoving the network down our throats? Because they're desperate and they know that the network right now is a colossal failure. Jack Talking Dildo asks, why is WWE having a girl from Florida play a role of a Russian? Is it even slightly believable? No. She doesn't really have that great of a Russian accent, but hey, you know, what can you do? You work with what you got, and she does look like a Russian woman, so hey, it works. And did you hear of Orton treating a female fan like shit by posting a photo of her on Twitter and saying that he met Latino Miss Piggy? Yeah, I heard about that, and it's just how Randy Orton is. He's an asshole. What can you say about him? Like, he is the most asshole person outside of the WWE. That's just how his personality is. Not everyone can be fucking nice. I mean, seriously, like, I understand that, like, what he said was wrong and it's not nice to bully, but most of the guys bully all the fucking time. A lot of commenters on my YouTube, you could say, like, oh, look at what Reginald D. Huff said to me. That's fucking bullying. Oh, Reginald D. Huff is an asshole, right? No. It's just how some people are. They're so wired like that, so it is what it is. You know, I don't think of any different from Randy Orton. I don't think he's that terrible of a person just because, you know, he called a girl Latino Miss Piggy. It's just how he is. So it is what it is when it comes down to that at the end of the day. And Escarota Compton asks, Why do you guys like the Lexman and others in the YWC have the need to review crappy shows and forcing yourselves to watch a W show and PPV? What's the point of watching a product even when you know it's a horse shit and talking about it and pissing yourselves off even more? Why do we review Raws? Well, let's face it, Raw reviews are tending to be, you know, the hot thing when it comes down to watching. If you're a wrestling YouTuber, not only that, Raw has more talking points. You get more views off your Raw reviews than you do in any other video, and I can guarantee you that's true because these Q&As only generate 100 to 200 views on my channel, yet my Raw reviews will generate anywhere from 800 to 2,000 views every single week on my channel, and that's where you get most of your subscriber base off of, is from your Raw reviews. So we watch those, and also not only that, it's the way to get our channel to be active. We watch the WWE pay-per-views and we watch the Raw reviews and we act like reviewers during those shows. So that's why we do Raw reviews, man. And what are my top 10 least favorite Raw reviews? Anything from 2012. Those would be my top 10 least favorite Raw reviews. 2012 was a terrible year for the WWE and a terrible year in general just to review Raw. Hell, I skipped a lot of Raws in 2012 if you haven't noticed. I skipped a lot of Raws in 2013 as well. And hey, sorry, I missed your last two Q&As. I got two questions I want your opinion on. Johnny Green asked these questions, and he's closing out the Q&A. What do you think about Titus O'Neil had a TV show on the WWE Network? Do you think he would get more subscribers on the network? No. Titus O'Neil getting a TV show on the network would not help the network with subscribers. I like Titus O'Neil. I think he's very entertaining, but I don't think him going hoo 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 would really help the network gain subscribers. It would definitely be a good way to showcase his character, that's for sure. And what entrance do you like better? Christian at Last Chance when it's raining gold, or the NWO when they took over? Well, which NWO are we talking about? WCW NWO? Because WCW NWO, that's a sick fucking entrance. That is a sick entrance. But Christian reigning gold, man, I don't know. That's kind of Randy Orton-ish, and you know how I like Randy Orton. I would have to go with NWO, though, overall. NWO just had a sick entrance, definitely ahead of its time when it came down to it, because you would just see the black and white screen. It felt all old school. The sick guitar music playing. So yes, I like that a lot better. But I do love Christian's opening opera chorus in At Last You're on Your Own. So definitely that's it. So thank you all very much for sending in the questions for the Q&A. Remember, you can send in your questions for the Thursday Q&A. Description box with all the details on it. You can do so. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68. Check out my website, Chillin' with Chase. And remember, guys, have yourself a good day. SummerSlam 1993 review is coming around the way. I'll see you all next time. Peace.